Hey, welcome to Pat's Soundbytes IGTV. Keeping new music alive is what I do on the radio and now on video. Conducting live chats with the artists and learning the stories behind their latest release and also playing their new video. A special thank you to my friend Chip Bouchard for scheduling and coordinating today's guest. Chipster PR and Consulting Incorporated is a highly sought-after, internationally renowned publicity, marketing, and consulting firm in the music industry. For more information, you could email Chip at info@chipsterpr.com, or you can call at 484-932-8951. Special thanks today to my sponsor, Go-Go Tuners. For all guitar players looking for a focus on ease of use, readability, durability, and accuracy, look no further. The Go-Go Tuner is the choice of many touring professionals and a favorite of casual players. Go-Go's signature green you're in and red you're out screen makes tuning quick and easy. For more information, go to the website at gogotuners.com. Special thanks to WBXO Classic Rock Radio Redefined, allowing me to keep new music alive on the radio airways on the Pat Show every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Only on WBXO Classic Rock Redefined. And a big thank you to Mr. Evan Balzer for allowing me to use his amazing instrumental that you're hearing right now. It's called Trails. To find out more incredible music by Evan, go to his website at evanbalzer.com. And my special guest today is Albert Bouchard, founding member of Blue Oyster Cult. And last November, Albert released his third solo album, Imaginos. And on Saturday, April 10th, Albert will be performing the entire album live stream, and you can get tickets by going to Albert Bouchard's website. We talk about this album, we talk about this event, we talk about Blue Oyster Cult, and we actually played the video for Black Telescope. All that and more with Albert Bouchard right here on Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Hey, live on Pat Soundbytes IGTV, rocking the world on the radio and on video with new music, and that's what I do, and that's what I love. And I got a legend here today. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I got Albert Bouchard, one of the founding members of one of my favorite all-time bands and one of my favorite albums of all time, when I used to have black hair back in the 80s. Blue Oyster Cult. Albert, how are you? Albert's in Manhattan. How are you, Albert?
I'm great. Wow, that was a great intro, Pat.
I am so excited. I can't get the smile off my face, the enthusiasm. One of my favorite bands I've seen. Albert, when you were in Blue Oyster Cult a number of times, we were fortunate here in Poughkeepsie that you guys always put it on your stop, and we must have made it really well for you to come back and love everything that you've done with Cole. I even am a big fan of Blue Coupe, by the way, with Joe and Dennis Dunaway from the old Alice Cooper days. In fact, I saw Dennis come on stage with Alice like a year ago in Waterbury, Connecticut at the Paramount for School's Out, and I was like third row, and Dennis is like right in front of me. So it was really, really cool. Albert, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Albert has put out, well, he put out in November, I want to say, Imaginos. Now, if you remember, Imaginos was a Blue Oyster Cult album back in 1988, I want to say.
Yep.
Albert has put out Imaginos and put his little angle and his vocals on it and massaged it. And, either I think you love it or you don't like it, but I really don't care what people think. I love it, Albert. Your vocals obviously a little bit different than Eric and the guys, but you know what? I like the creativity. I like the idea. And in fact, this came out November 6th. Albert is doing a live stream this Saturday, April 10th, the entire album, plus a couple maybe gems of Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, yeah.
You can go to albertbouchard.net and purchase tickets right now as we speak. Okay, now that I've like rambled on here,
Hey, yeah.
Albert, how are you? How are you doing? How are you surviving with this whole COVID pandemic thing? You okay?
It's a drag, but I have been relatively unscathed as far as financially because I don't make my money from I make a lot of royalties, and I was a public school teacher for 31 years, so I have a pension. I'm retired, so I don't really it hasn't affected me that way. It has affected me in that I've lost people, especially some older people. Some of my closest older friends are no longer with us, and that is just a terrible
That's a
thing.
bummer.
And I mean, they died of COVID too, so that's and they were. It seemed like they were taking precautions and everything. They were health conscious people. I mean, that's how you get to be that old, but. Yeah, it got him. Whatever, and one guy had to go to the hospital for something else, and he caught it in the hospital.
I know of a firefighter. I'm a past fire chief up here, and a poor firefighter, older gent, retired from down in the city, MTA, moved up here, and the poor guy falls off a ladder and fractures his hip. Now he goes for a hip surgery, and everything is great. He's doing the time with his family because they weren't allowing visitors, but somebody made this brainless idea of moving him into another room with a gentleman with COVID, and guess what happened? He ends up getting COVID in 2 or 3 days and passes away. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. It's same with my friend who went to the hospital. It was like he was kind of okay. He had a fainting spell, I guess, in his house. So they brought him in for observation, and he didn't have COVID. And then he was there for a week because he was not making any sense. So he was there for a week. They released him after a week, and he had COVID, and he lasted maybe 5 days.
Well, let's pray that we are getting away from all
this. Well, I've had my shots. Everybody I know just about. Well, my oldest son, who's here from Las Vegas, he hasn't got it yet. But
now I got my shots, and I'm all good to go. And hopefully we can all. I know we're going to get through it, but I hope it's sooner than later. But we just can't get too crazy to let our guard down. That's for sure. But Albert, let's talk music here, man. I'm a big fan of Blue Oyster Cult. Like I said, seen you a bunch of times. I missed the drumstick you threw at me. I'm like, holy crap. Have another beer, asshole.
Not ever happen again.
It'll never happen again either.
Yeah, no. Not with the lawsuits and all of that.
Exactly.
And also, it's like if somebody isn't paying attention, like what I would try and do is throw it directly to somebody, make eye contact. And just throw it right to them.
You're looking right at me. It's the end of the night, the last show. The place is going crazy. You literally look right at me, and I'm like, I'm here. And you didn't like throw it. You flipped it up.
Yep.
You weren't like looking to poke somebody's eye out. And I got this, and there were like 5 other hands just came in slow motion and took it away. And I looked.
That's like when I went to the White House. A couple years before I retired, I was representing New York City teachers, and at the Teacher of the Year award. So I got invited to the White House, and I got to, and so. I thought something else. I thought that he was a well, I know for a fact he's a Blue Oyster Cult fan. This is Obama we're talking about. Okay. And I know he's a Blue Oyster Cult fan, but it turned out it was just a coincidence that I was invited as part of the New York City teachers, and he just wanted to, a lot of teachers to be there. So teachers from every city, and plus the teachers of the year for each, they were up on stage. So I thought I was going to speak to him, and then I realized, oh no, I'm not. I guess I'm not going to, So and I brought him all these things, like a signed album, but the guy signed it, because I was playing with Blue Oyster Cult at the time,
Okay.
So, on guitar. This is the Agents of Fortune, anniversary tour,
Nice.
right? So it was lots of fun. So I brought him a record. I brought him a signed cowbell. I brought him I brought him a Blue Coupe record. I brought him one of my solo records. I brought him a sweatshirt from my school. And so I brought this whole package. And of course, I thought I was going to give it to him. But, you go to the White House and you go in that little house there and it's full of security and a scanner and all this stuff. So I had to go through the scanner. I had to give the package to, the staff, the White House staff there, Secret Service or whatever. And then, so I'm waiting, and then at the end, he comes out in the audience, and he comes right over to me.
Oh, no.
Mr. President, Mr. President, trying to get him, and all of a sudden, all these young people hey, man, I'm an old guy, man. I was like the oldest person there, and they're all rushing me, and so I said, well, they're all females, so,
Oh, well. What?
Okay, they're females. They're young. They got their whole life to say, "Oh, I shook the president's hand." So.
And you went home with a package, or did you give it to Secret Service? Or?
I got a letter though.
Oh,
I got a very nice letter from
he
him.
got it, and he sent you a letter.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It was like 6 months later, but
but
he was still president at the time.
Yeah, but still, it's something that you always treasure.
Oh yeah.
Albert, I want to just we're going to talk about Reimaginos, but
Yes.
tell me, how did you get involved with the music? Anybody, obviously you and Joe musically inclined. Was your parents inclined?
Yeah.
What
My mother.
Did you watching the Beatles? What was it that got you?
Oh no! I thought the Beatles were crap. Anyway, we were our own little band by then. We were writing our own songs, and I'm like, yeah, all right, not as good as the Beach Boys. So, but yeah, we started very young. I was 12 and Joe was 10. So we were in elementary school and we played for Boy Scout dances and stuff like that. And then we played a block party. We played in front of my cousin's house and passed the hat, So, my mother played the piano. My dad played guitar.
Okay.
I never heard them play together.
No?
Nope.
Wow.
They did. Well, my mother could only play what was on the paper. She could only read music. She couldn't remember songs and stuff. And my dad could not read music. So it's kind of the two things. But, he was a pretty good guitar player. He taught my uncle how to play guitar. And my uncle Bill, he taught all of us how to play guitar, basically. He was a semi-professional musician. So cool. My dad, my Uncle Bill, he learned guitar from my dad in high school, and then when he went in the service, he played with a Navy band in Hawaii, and he played with some Hawaiian cats. So he had all this, he was a great guitar player. I mean, my dad was okay, but he could only play those few things that he knew, whereas my uncle could play every song, and then, and my cousin was his son was the guy that started the band. He wanted to have a little rock band because he didn't like the school band. It was corny.
So was the actual original name was Soft White Underbellies?
No, it was the Regal Tones. This is, Soft White Underbelly came, I went away to college and the Regal Tones were no more, and so, I met this guy in college, and I remember seeing him play, and I said, "Hey, man, you're almost as good as my brother." And he goes, "Oh, yeah? Who's your brother?" I said, "Joe Bouchard." He goes, "Never heard of him." That was Don Roser. So, but we ended up forming a band in college, and it was very popular, and we decided, screw this engineering stuff. Let's have a band, and that's what we did. We dropped out of school and we ended up in Long Island and met Sandy Perlman. Sandy Perlman called the Soft Red Underbelly. So he actually named the band every time we changed the name, he would make the name because we could never agree, and he always made the coolest name. So
who did Sandy come up with Blue Oyster Cult?
Yeah. That was the name of a song that he had written, and so it was sitting around. Nobody had written it yet, and
which is on the album of Imaginos, right? Reimaginos.
Right. It is on Imaginos, but it is also on Secret Treaties called Subhuman. It's the same song, but what Eric did is he took out a lot of the Blue Oyster Cult reference, and he took out a lot of the words. It was like 6 stanzas. It was like a Bob Dylan song. It just went on and on. So Eric took out some of the words, and he changed it around a little bit. And so I always felt like the words were really great. I just couldn't figure out what to do. But I took Eric's version, and then I added like another little piece of music to fit some of the other things, and then I changed the melody so that I could sing all the lyrics that were there, and that was how Blue Oyster Cult came about, as Blue Oyster Cult.
Do you remember the first time you heard, Reaper or Godzilla or any of the hits, like in a car?
Yeah, I heard Reaper the day that Donald wrote it.
Oh yeah. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase my question. First time you heard it on the radio?
Oh, on the radio. I don't remember hearing Reaper on the radio. It was not spectacular to me. There's 2 songs. The first song that I ever heard on the radio that I was playing was Last Days of May, and that was WLIR on Long Island.
Okay.
And I was living in Queens at the time, and I heard it, and I started jumping up on the bed like a little kid, like, yay, I'm on the radio. Hey, Denise, listen.
We're gonna make
He's
it.
like, what's the matter? What are you doing? You're going to break the bed. I said, I'm on the radio. She goes, so now you think you're all that, huh?
I am all that, right?
And then the second time.
Who would ever thought,
The second time, we were in Eric Bloom's van going to see Alice Cooper in the Capitol Theater in Passaic, New Jersey. So we're going from Long Island to Passaic, New Jersey. We're going over the George Washington. As we're going over the George Washington Bridge, we have WABC. Dan Ingram was the DJ. Dan Ingram plays Cities on Flame. And just like the other time, Eric had
over the bridge.
He had this panel van, and so a couple of us go in the back, and we're going, yay! And then afterwards, Dan Ingram says, okay, that was Blue Oyster Cult with Cities on Flame with rock and roll. That was really different. And then we go see Alice Cooper, and wow, they were really different.
Absolutely. Well, tell me about your thought behind putting out Imaginos and making it your Reimaginos. As I mentioned, your vocals. The only really difference is your style of it, and you're getting used to your vocals compared to the original. I mean, my notes here when I listened to it a bunch of times was I Am the One You Warned Me Of. I thought it was you did a pretty decent job. I thought Del Rio's song was a little bit softer and more poppy feeling. I love Black Telescope. I mean, that's just probably my favorite, which we're going to play the video of. Even the song Imaginos, I thought it was a little down tempo. But I loved it. I loved the way that you did it. So talk to me about it.
Okay, so there was a lot. I didn't, when the record came out, I was pretty disappointed in it because they had taken 3 songs off of it that were supposed to be there.
Now this was CBS Records,
right?
Yes,
for Sony, yeah. So they had taken some songs off, and originally I had sang all the songs, but Sony or Columbia would not put out the record as an Albert Bouchard record. They wanted it as a Blue Oyster Cult record. So Sandy had to talk those guys. I wanted before I was not in the band, like around Cultosaurus erectus, I said, almost all the songs are written by then. I think all the songs were written by then. So I said, let's put out this Imaginos record. There's a Blue Oyster Cult record. And they were like, nah, we got it. We need another hit. And I'm like, you guys are crazy, man. We don't need another hit. They said, well, you wrote most of those songs, and, we're not going to have another record where you write all the songs, because that's what happened on Agents of Fortune. So I think there was a little bit of resentment. I mean, I didn't choose the songs. I mean, that was the producers, Sandy and David and Murray. So, but they wanted their songs on. So that's why they didn't want to do it. So when I wasn't in the group, I said, well, I guess this means, I said to Sandy, I guess this means I have to do it. And he said, well, I can get you a record deal. And I said, okay, good. So we got the record deal, and it took a long time, because Sandy was working on all these, he had these other groups, Pavlov's Dog and Joni Peltz, and, people that you probably never even heard of. But he had all these, plus he had this whole thing with Black Sabbath. He was still their manager. So they were, and Sharon Osbourne was like getting in the middle of that. And, it was weird. So, so he couldn't work on it all the time. So he would go away, and 3 months later we'd work on it some more. And by the time it was done, my band was gone. The people that I had assembled to do it, and the people that signed me to Columbia were also gone.
Oh wow!
So
it was that long. It took that long.
Yeah, it was. We started in '82, and it was '85 by the time we had anything to show anybody. So because we kept, working on it little here and there. I mean, we did the. It took 6 months to do the basic tracks, just because we worked a week, and then we took, 5 months off, and then we worked another week. So that's how that worked, and so. The people at Columbia did not want to put it out as a Albert Bouchard Blue Oyster Cult. So Sandy had to convince, it was the last record that we had under our contract. So he convinced the band, listen, you guys got nothing. We got a record already done. Just put your name on it, overdub your vocals, and at the time I felt like it was slapdash, like, oh, they just did it, they were being forced to do it and whatnot. But then when I started working on this one, and I didn't really listen to it that much, but I would get emails from fans saying, you've got to remix it. You've got to do your version. It's much better, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever you think, but, it doesn't belong to me. It's not my, Columbia, it really, or Sony or whoever owns it, CBS, they own the rights to that, so I can't really just do it without, and I have approached them several times to do it, and they just were not, it didn't sell. Why you want to redo it?
Gotcha.
Because it didn't sell. But anyway, so in 2019, I started getting this idea. What if I re-recorded the whole thing? One of my frustrations was that when Blue Oyster Cult put it out, I said to those guys, "Hey, you should have me back in the band just to promote this record, because you guys don't even know how to play it, Yeah, Don and Eric had sang it, but there was all the guitars and the bass and drums, all of that stuff was different, And they had another drummer. I said, well, that's okay. Let me play guitar and sing, And so they said, nah, it's too much trouble. We got this tour. I don't know, Joe has quit, so, it's not even, and Alan was, Alan, at the time it was just two Oyster Cult. It was just Don and Eric. And so eventually they convinced Alan to come back, but they didn't want me back. So I never got to do the whole album all like properly live. So that's something that's going to happen this Saturday. I'm extremely excited about. Is I'm finally going to get to do the thing live, because that was part of my thinking when I redid it. Was I don't want to have to worry about a band. I don't want to have a band. I want to be able to walk into a bar, a coffee shop, and just play the entire record on my guitar with me and my guitar. So that was my plan, and that's why a song like Imaginos, which I hated on the original, I thought I did a terrible job arranging that, and I felt like there was so much more in that song that I missed, with Sandy's lyrics. And so that's probably what I'm most proud of on my version, because
I love that version. I love your
slowed
version.
it down. I made it a little lower.
Down tempo.
And just made it a little more conversational, like we're talking about this cat who came from, New Hampshire, who's like, he's cross gender, cross species, cross everything. He's like, he could be a bird. He could be, he
an
could
alien,
be
whatever.
an alien. He's a man. He's a woman. It's like, Imaginos is everything. So
I love it. Saturday, April 10th at 4
I didn't feel like that message was there in the original, and so I made sure that I got it right. And also, the other thing about it is that in 2016, Sandy Perlman was in the hospital. He had an accident in a parking lot and was in a coma. He'd fallen. Coming out of a bank or something, and he stepped off the curb and fell and hit his head, and so he was in a coma. And so I heard that he came out of the coma, and I went to the hospital. It's in San Francisco, so I had to take off from school, and I was still working at the school at the time, and I went to see him, and I told him that I'm going to redo Imaginos. I'm going to put all the songs that were on it. And not only that, but I'm going to do, because we wrote songs for 2 follow records too. So it's going to be Imaginos 2 and Imaginos 3.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, and I'm almost finished with the tracking for Imaginos 2.
Very cool.
And this one, like Imaginos 1, my Reimaginos, we'll call it, that has me singing all the lead vocals. Imaginos 2 is going to have Eric Bloom, Buck Dama, Joe Bouchard, all doing lead vocals, and Joe Sarazana. So yeah, it's gonna be like a reprise of the other one, but with us really, doing it together.
Wow, that is awesome to
hear. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
The Colt fans are gonna go crazy.
Oh yeah, no, the Reimaginos record is very pastoral. It's kind of like a acoustic guitar thing. Reimaginos 2 is going to be not that at all. It's going to be a band album. I played drums on Reimaginos, but I played like trying to not get in the way. I tried to play so that any other drummer could come in and just do it. I didn't want to make it too complicated, too technical. So, but 2. I'm just, I went hard. All in. So,
any idea when you could share with your fans?
The fall. Okay. Yeah, October, maybe, hopefully. Last year I was going to put it out in October, but Blue Oyster Co. put out their record, and so I talked to those guys, and I said, I think I should maybe wait until after you guys put yours out, and they said, well, that'd be really good if you did that, and I said, okay. We have a good relationship now, so we try to coordinate things. But I don't think they're going to do another. I know they're not going to do another record this year, because that record took 2 years.
Wow.
That Symbol Remains.
No, I think it's great that you got the guys on yours. That says a lot. That's really cool.
Well, they had me on theirs, so it was.
Whatever, that works, right?
Yeah.
As Albert mentioned, a live stream this Saturday, April 10th. When the album came out in November, it hit Billboard's Top 100 at 97 automatically. And you're going to be at the Deco Entertainment's 2-track studios. And as I mentioned before, you can get your tickets going to albertbouchard.net. And the minute you go on there, as I did before, it brings up Albert's website, and you see the link to drop and buy the tickets. Also, he's got great bundles. I mean, the vinyl I read before, a nice gateway, double fold. He's got all kinds of vinyls, right, Albert? A poster, autographed poster, autographed drumsticks, guitar picks. It's all there. It's all good stuff. What's going on with Blue Coop with Joe and Dennis Dunaway?
Well, we actually, the only thing we've been doing lately is we are doing another video from 11 Even, which also, it came out November 11th, 11/11/19. So so we didn't get to promote it. So we put out one video and we started working on another, but it became problematic. It was like we were trying, I think we were getting too fancy. We were, it was supposed to look like a painting, but then we show up in the middle of the painting. But anyway, so that we had technical problems with that. We're doing another one that's a cartoon.
Oh, cool!
The animated cartoon, and that should be done by the end of this month.
When we get the green light to go back to live shows, any thought about really taking it on the road?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I have a bunch of things. I don't have any gigs yet, but my manager, Jeff Keller, is working on getting some stuff starting in August. And I think we have potential gigs with another group, with the Bouchard brothers, which is my brother and me, doing acoustic duo. And so we will probably be doing some of the Imaginos. I don't think we'll be doing the whole record, but because Joe has 6 solo records, so he likes, and we got to play "Burning for You" and Zilla and Reaper and all that.
Well, we love to have you up here at Daryl's house, which is a wonderful venue.
I know.
Back at the Chance, or even the Civic Center.
This record could come into something like that, or the what is it called? The Point in Piermont. It's a little.
Oh yeah, down in Piermont. Yes, the turn.
Yeah. That would be a good place to play too with this, because it is not an overwhelmingly heavy metal show.
Or even like the Tarrytown Music Hall, or over in Peekskill.
Well, Blue Coop has tried to get in there, and it's been a little problematic.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. It's a nice venue, a great venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything that I can do for you, Albert, call your favorite calamari Italian squid guy on every menu, and I'll work the phones for you. I love what you've done, and I love all of it. And I can't wait to hopefully to get to meet you and get you and Joe together and get you up here in Poughkeepsie. Thank you I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. It's been great. Thank you, Pat.
I can't get the smile off my face. This has been terrific. I can cross this off. The wonderful, the founding member, the gentleman, the legend, Mr. Albert Bouchard, right here on Pat's Soundbytes, and in time to rock a little Mr. Albert Bouchard and a little kind of Blue Oyster Cult with Black Telescope right here, right now. Go and buy it today and catch him live Saturday night. Yeah.
By silverfish and Imperatrix, whose incorrupted eye sees to the charms of doctors and their wives. By salamander Drake and the power that was indeed rise to claim Saturn, ring and sky. By those who are singing with their eyes closed, you know me by my black telescope. A green tree mantle from which these things derive, a lens of quartz and refractscope, that crystal lens whose crystal rope once bound me to those doctors and wives. When my vision was so cloudy and I saw things through two eyes. I am a sailor on the raging gale, and I know a thing or two. Back to the corner, mates, and over the side. Yes, I know a thing or two. Silverfish and Beatrix, whose incorrupted eye sees through the charms of doctors and their wives. By salamander Drake and the power that was indeed, rise to claim Saturn, ring and sky. By those who see with their eyes closed, you know me by my black telescope. Sailor on the raging depths, and I know a thing or two. Before my great conversion, when the ridge was closed, before my visit to the workshop of telescopes. My silverfish and Beatrix, whose incorrupted eye sees to the charms of doctors and their wives. Like salamander Drake and the power that was indeed, rise to claim Saturn, ring and sky. By those who see with their eyes closed, you know me by my black telescope. By those who see with their eyes closed, you know us by our black telescope. Let's go.